So you've seen all of these crazy articles such as this one, and this one, which makes you think, okay, since the resale market is so crazy, why don't I just go buy a new home because that'll be easier? Well, that's what we're gonna get into. Cory Benhardt here, your Philly Suburbs realtor. All right, let's jump right into it. Stick around to the end and I will give you some key tips when it comes to buying new construction homes that you will not want to miss. All right, let's start with the lot premium. Typically, it's a small fee, anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000. Again, it really depends on how big of a lot your new home is going to be on. But because of this crazy increase in the real estate market, builders have realized that they can charge the most that they've ever charged for a lot. And keep in mind that the lot premium is just what you're paying for the land that your new home is going to go on. It doesn't even include the cost of them building the home, any upgrades, nothing like that. It's just the cost of the land. So as you can see from the title, the reason that it's happening is because of the drastic increase in material costs. So what we're finding is by the time that a buyer is under contract, the builder is losing so much money just because of increased material costs as they're building a house, that by the time that the house is finished, it actually costs them 2 or 3 times more just in material costs than originally what they thought. So if they thought that they were going to build a full, complete house for $300,000, but it took them 2 months to build that house, and in those 2 months, material costs have just continued to rise, then let's say all said and done, they're actually all in on building a house at $350,000 or $400,000, which is essentially why home prices for new construction are increasing as well. I actually had a new construction sales agent tell me that they're not building any more new homes. They're just building the ones that they've already started, which blew my mind because in this market, we need more supply, and for builders to just say, we're not building anymore unless we've already started, is just not helping the overall demand and supply issue that we're having in the housing market. This new home sales rep told me that they're just losing way too much money by the time that the house is completed, that they don't want to go back to their buyers and say, actually, it's going to be 50 or 100,000 or even more than what we were originally under contract for because of increased material. Another key tip is because they're trying to build these houses as fast as possible, that maybe sometimes the quality isn't there just because they're rushing through these things, which is another great reason to have a knowledgeable real estate agent who has dealt with multiple new construction transactions in his or her career. It's key to have an inspector come in to inspect the house to make sure that each step of the process is being completed the right way and they're not sacrificing any safety or material issues altogether. Since we brought it up a little bit, let's jump right into inspections. As you're going through the new home building process, the home builder may tell you that they already inspected it or they have a third-party inspector that they deal with. I highly recommend to not go with the builder's home inspector, to always go with a home inspector that you or your real estate agent suggests, so you know that that inspector is working for you instead of that inspector who's supposed to be working on your behalf but is actually working with the builder. You want an inspector and an agent who is fully on your side, doing everything they can for your best interest to make sure that this process goes as smoothly as possible and that there's no hiccups along the way. Make sure that you do a pre-dry wall inspection. It's essentially just what it sounds like. You want an inspector to get in there to make sure all the wires, all the plumbing, everything is done correctly before they put up the drywall. If you're moving to Pennsylvania and need some suggestions for inspectors, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'd be happy to give you my recommendation in whichever area you're moving to. What I project to happen is builders will start to just build spec homes and you will have very minimal options when it comes to layout or design because the builders are selecting their own finishes, their own layouts to minimize that overhead cost, which in my opinion is not very much fun. It kind of brings the new construction feel of buying a new home out of things, which is essentially just like a resale home, whereas you're just buying that home with the current design that it is. Yes, you can change things once you own the home, but to be able to design and choose your layout from the ground up is just very special. If you're thinking about buying a new home, specifically in Pennsylvania, I really hope this information helps. Since you've stuck around this far, I appreciate it. So I will give you one last final tip when it comes to buying a new home in Pennsylvania. Please like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. All of my contact info is below. If you're moving to Pennsylvania, I would love to be your real estate resource of choice. All right, and now to that number one most important tip when buying a new construction home: get an agent. When buying a new construction home, whether you're going to see a model home or just going to an open house at a new construction home, don't go without a real estate agent. Why is that so important? Because if you don't show up with your real estate agent the first time that you are visiting a new construction community, or essentially just showing your face at all in that model home, then their rules are that if you don't show up with an agent the first time, then you will not be allowed to be represented at all throughout the home buying process. I'm not saying that's how every builder is, but all of the ones that I've come in contact with, they've all said the same thing. If your agent isn't with you the first time that you go see that community and you happen to fall in love with that community or one of those specific homes, you will essentially be left alone throughout that entire process to fend for yourself. So that's my last and final tip. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.